Good afternoon and welcome to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Providence Holy Cross Medical Center and Comfort Computers in Home Care. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host
Dr. Thomas Pilecki.
on your hometown station 98.9 FM AM 1220 KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And speaking of quality of life, if you have bugs in your house, you need this man, our guest, Cardon Ellis from Unipest.
Yeah,
Welcome,
what's up?
sir.
I'm so excited to be here, Barbara.
Good, good, good. We're excited to have you. Now, tell us about all these monstrous rats and mice and pests. We don't have any mosquitoes anymore, do we?
Oh, no, you've gotten a reprieve. Have you noticed a difference?
Yes.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I don't like being bitten by mosquitoes.
Would you want the good news or the bad news?
Uh-oh. Well, we haven't had any rain yet.
Actually, I just said that to see how you'd react. You know what I'm saying? I don't have any good or bad news about mosquitoes, other than they're coming back next year when it gets hot again,
Oh,
but
yes.
you get a whole winter time without them.
I know. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Woohoo!
So now you're just waiting for the next wave.
So,
'cause-
Cardin,
yeah.
what's the threshold on like mosquitoes? Like, is there a temperature? Is there some kind of climate situation? Because I still occasionally see one here or there.
Oh, yeah. We're still getting occasional calls. So first off, I'm going to give you an answer, okay? But second off, how does that answer apply? Because are they a seasonal pest? Yes, absolutely. But what is that season in California?
Yeah, right.
Like, I mean, in Santa Clarita here, we had like our first 100-degree day in April. And then we were sporting 100 degrees until 10 days ago?
Yeah.
And there's going to be some weird heat wave that happens in the middle of November out of the blue where all of us are back to wearing shorts and t-shirts again until that 6-week rainy season starts. And then like maybe 6 weeks of chilly, and then we start all over again. So what is spring? What is summer? What is fall in Santa Clarita? I don't know. It seems like we just have hot and then rain and then hot and then rain. So with mosquitoes, usually with most flying insects, this is the rough estimate. Around 77 degrees, they thrive and they metabolize well, and 77 degrees and above, they're very, very active.
Yeah.
Below 77 degrees, activity goes down. Below 55 degrees, most flying insects are kind of discouraged from flight.
They're sleeping.
Not necessarily sleeping. It's from what I understand, and obviously I'm a pest control guy, not a scientist. I do have to study a lot of the science of insects as part of my training. But from what I understand is it's a metabolism issue. Like if you look up the Titana boa, it was a boa constrictor that existed during the Pleistocene or the Mesozoic era. I don't remember exactly what prehistoric era it existed. Those are all dinosaur eras, so it was probably afterwards. But the Titana boa was like 80 feet, 90 feet, 100 feet long. It was triple, quadruple, quintuple the size of a current anaconda. And it was so large that most scientists studying reptiles think that it's an evidence that the Earth was 10 to 20 degrees hotter in that area, because without that much ambient heat, an animal that size could not metabolize its own food. So below 55 degrees, things happen with cold-blooded lizards, insects, so on and so forth. They don't metabolize as quickly and as fast, so that discourages their movement, their locomotor skills, right? So as things get cooler, it's not like it kills them, but it definitely does make them less active, makes the food that they predate upon less available. It's just kind of less comfortable of an environment. So we get, as human beings, that can just throw on a shawl or throw on what's the really cool word in England for a raincoat? What do you guys call it? In Argentina, they call it an impermeable.
Slicker.
A slicker? Is that what they call it?
No,
No.
No?
no.
Okay, well, a raincoat, just like we can put on a raincoat, then that they can't. So they just have to slow down, right? So anyway, we get a reprieve from mosquitoes until they come back. Some of them just lay a ton of eggs that also just last months and months at a time until heat comes back up again. There's some insects that are that way as well. So
Interesting.
yeah, we're coming into rodent season though, which is going to be super fun. Are you
Oh,
ready?
no.
No. Are you a little myriophobic?
Am I a little what phobic?
Myriophobia.
Myriaphobia. What is
It's
that?
it's the
Mice.
it's
It's
the
what?
yeah, it's the crippling fear of the likeness, image, and movement of a rodent, specifically a rat or a mouse.
You got to stand up on a table and shout, "Eek!"
Yeah,
Can I do it now?
yeah. So no, so we're coming into rodent season. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're doing gophers, we're doing rats, we're doing mice. It's pretty fun.
Gophers, to me, are fascinating creatures.
Really?
Oh, I've had a couple in my backyard before.
You ever eaten one?
And no,
Oh.
and I don't intend to.
Oh,
But they stick that little head out of that hole and look around like, okay, who's out here now, you know? And then they'll either jump out and start running around or they'll go back down.
yeah. Oh, have you ever caught one?
No, no, I wouldn't touch one.
Really?
No.
They're cute, aren't they?
They're adorable to watch,
Uh-huh.
especially when they go through those, looking out of their hole or
Uh-huh.
running back into it. And I've seen that in my backyard.
Really?
Yes.
All right. Did you just luck out and they went away naturally, or what'd you do?
Yes, they just went away.
Oh, okay. Well, I doubt they just went away. Either Mother
Okay.
Nature took care of it,
Oh,
you know
all
what
right.
I'm
Well,
saying,
I guess
or one of
that's
your neighbors
possible.
did. But if you didn't have to take care of it, then
No.
awesome, good for you.
No.
But yeah, no, gophers, they'll move a quarter ton of earth per year. Do you know that?
Wow.
All those little mounds that you see, it adds up like death by a million paper cuts. When I worked at Orkin and I was getting licensed, I had to do training.
Licensed to kill gophers.
Yeah, well, licensed to
Licensed
kill.
to kill.
Some things, yes. The more feet, the less expensive. But when I was training with Orkin, I had to do training on birds and gophers, and it was some supplementary training I had to do. And the stats on gophers were nuts. There was a gopher problem that went basically unmitigated by the state that was building a freeway. I don't remember the exact project, so obviously don't quote me on this, and it's been, 15 years. But there was basically this public works project. I believe it was a freeway overpass that had a bad problem with gophers on the foundation.
They undermined it.
And yeah, basically what happened was there was a salesman that said, "Hey, you got bad gophers here. Like, you got to take care of this." And they ignored it, and they ignored him. And this was like his badge of honor, where he's like, "I told you so." We all have those moments, right? Well, his "I told you so" moment was when the freeway overpass had to get delayed because the civil engineer came out and said they've excavated too much dirt underneath the foundation of these pylons. We need to tear out the pylons, recompact the soil, and relay the foundation. And it delayed like the overpass like 9 months or something absurd like that, all because of just these little rodents that are frankly preventable if you just stay on top of it. So yeah, they mean business, man. They mean business, but they are cute if looked in the correct way, and you can capture them, put them behind glass,
And they'll do it anyway.
and I've seen look this up. Yeah, I'm sure you can find this online. There's
Gopher farm.
yeah, kind of like you have an ant farm. There's a gopher farm. And when you get your agricultural degree from some of these really prestigious UC system programs like UC Riverside, UCLA, so on and so forth, one of the projects one of my friends had to do was to go out and dig up an entire gopher system.
Wow.
Just to see how far it went.
Wow.
And yeah, they filled them with cement and yanked them out of the soil, and it's crazy what they do. It's kind of fun. You should come out with this next time, Barbara.
Well, let me know. I'm game.
Oh, dude, awesome.
Yeah.
We'll give you a trowel. Have to start digging up the hole, laying the
Well,
traps.
Good luck with that.
Just yeah. So anyway, yeah, it's cool. It's fun actually. It's one of the kind of more adventurous parts of my job.
Well, there was an opossum in my backyard a week or so ago.
Really?
Oh, they are ugly, ugly creatures.
Oh, wow. Seems a little bit harsh, but I don't disagree.
I think they're ugly.
Hey, they're our resident marsupial.
Yeah, they're the only one left.
Yeah.
They're not a rat. They're a kangaroo.
Oh, I know they're not a rat. They're too big to be a rat.
Well, there's rodents that actually are bigger than possums. Kind of crazy, huh? I think one's called the nutria.
Capybara.
Or, no, the kookaburra. The
Capybara.
capybara,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I think in Argentina they call it the nutria.
Yeah.
But it's looks like a beaver, but it's actually a rodent,
Yeah, beavers are rodents.
which is something I'm trying to bring back to Santa Clarita, by the way.
Beavers?
Bring back the beavers. Yeah.
Where's the water?
Well, so here's the deal. Like half the reason why we struggle with water in California is because all of our natural
Got rid
river
of the
systems.
beavers.
Yeah, they used to be loaded with beavers, but then the trappers came through in the 1830s, 40s, 50s, and we wiped them out. And, you know, we act like we're the super avant-garde environmentalist state, but we have only built one freeway overpass in the entire state in the past 50 years. Meanwhile, all the redneck hunters in Mississippi have like 50,000 of them, and they're corralling the herds that they hunt every day.
Yeah.
We've never reintroduced megafauna, and we've never even reintroduced minor fauna. One of the small animals that I think we need a robust replacement program in is beavers will do great damage to civilization in areas that are still developing, but the Santa Clarita River, or the Santa Clara River, would be a great candidate for bringing back beavers because it's kind of already developed in the surrounding area, right? And beaver dams, they create what are called analogs. And what they found is that water stays underground for 2 or 3 years at a time. And the best thing that beaver dams do is actually build up underground reservoirs of water because they slow water that is regularly going to just drain to the ocean. They slow it down enough that it has a chance to seep into the ground. And so if they do it in the wrong place, then yeah, you don't want to flood your neighbor's yard just because some overzealous beaver went a little bit crazy. But when they release that water that comes out of Bouquet Reservoir and it just floods down the Santa Clara River and it kind of smells a little bit bad underneath that one biker bridge for a minute, you know, we could actually do a good job of making it so some of these rivers run year round again, and we revitalize that habitat just by reintroducing beavers. They've done this in Texas, they've done this in other places, and if we brought back the beavers, oh my gosh, that's a slogan. Bring back the beavers. B3. B to the third power. No, we're going to have you personalize it, and it's Barbara brings back the Barbara brings back the bodacious and beautiful beavers.
Don't have me say
Oh
that
boy.
fast, please.
You know.
Can we just shorten that to Barbie's beaver?
Yeah. Jeez. You and you alone are responsible for what you say on this microphone. So anyway, yeah, bringing back the beavers. I think that would be like a super cool and fun and beautiful and environmentally sound project.
Oh no, I like my little bandits,
Your little bandits?
my little black-eyed creatures.
Well, we don't have to kill all the raccoons just to bring back the beavers. They can
Oh, but
play together.
raccoons are.
You know?
I used to have a pet raccoon, and she would sleep with me at night.
What?
Oh yeah, she was so sweet. I loved her to death.
Wait. How'd you get a pet raccoon?
At a pet store.
Oh, this was before all the wildlife laws. Dude,
Yes.
my grandfather had a pet store, had a spider monkey. Yeah, my mother grew up in the...
I've had one of those also.
Really?
I've had almost every pet you could possibly imagine.
Yeah, that was before the Endangered Species Act in 1964.
Just don't get a squirrel.
Oh,
no.
jeez. Justice for Peanut.
Peanut.
Yeah.
Don't get a squirrel. Well, they're hard to catch anyway.
Oh, the state of New York caught him. You know what I'm saying?
With extreme
But I
prejudice.
loved my
Justice for Peanut, man.
I loved my little raccoon. Oh, she was so sweet. So sweet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, what about rats? You ever had a pet rat? I brought you some rat traps. Do you want to see them?
Oh, I looked at that and I thought, geez, that's big.
Yeah, dude, this is what we're catching rats with. This is
Really?
old school, like
And
OG
it's
rat
old.
trap. Yeah.
That'll
I
hurt you.
mean,
Like
really
you know
old.
in Constantine, where he goes to see the guy that has the electric chair from Sing Sing, and that's the porthole to hell. You know, and he has to put his feet in the water and then turn it on, and that's how he crosses over from the world of the living to the world of the dead. And he says when he takes off the cover from the electric chair, he's like, 35 men went to the other side through this thing.
I don't know what you're
Do you know how many
talking about.
rats went to the other side through this thing?
Mine was smaller.
Don't touch it.
Oh, I don't know if there's a lot of rat guts on there. No, I'm just kidding. This hasn't been used. I'm totally just kidding
Yeah,
with
but
you, Barbara.
mine was much smaller.
Yeah, that's because it's for mice. This is the real deal, though. See, like, this is the real deal. This is the original Victor rat trap from 1923. And so your audience can hear. They'll be able to hear it. So don't get too startled. But this is what it sounds like 50% when it goes off.
Wow.
Boom,
that is-
shakalaka.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. Now imagine doubling that and actually setting it. Yeah, that's how you catch them.
Jiminy Christmas.
But that does get a little Jiminy Christmas. So now we use this because I'm going all over Santa Clarita, and we're going after the rats. So I brought this for. Don't worry, there's nothing in it, dog. Actually, I better check. Yeah, this is not. You know what I'm saying? How is that? Does that not look cool and super techy? Yeah. So this is a.
So the rat goes through there?
Yeah. So for our audience
Climbs up there?
Yeah, so for the audience that's watching on Facebook Live or on hometownstation.com, you can actually see an original trapper tunnel. For the audience listening on the radio, it's a two-sided tunnel about the size of, how big would you say this is? 24 inches long by maybe 6 inches tall. And yeah, there's two holes on the side because we figured out that when you set the trap like that, okay, you can step on it. And then we use...
They come in and step on that little...
Yeah. So
Black
what they figured
square.
out, and it's kind of cool, and so I'm just going to shake this so you can hear it go off again. But this one, that's how it goes off. And what's so interesting is rodents, they have those whiskers. They're virtually blind, right? So they use their whiskers to feel, and they feel most comfortable, and they'll metabolize, just like those mosquitoes only metabolize at a certain temperature. And the Titanoboa would only metabolize at a certain temperature. Rodents will only stop to rest and digest and take the food that they've stored outside of their cheeks to like kind of regurgitate it and eat it real this time. They'll only do that when 3 out of 4 of their sides are covered. So they feel that like, okay, if I retreat into this corner, I can feel with my whiskers that there's something to the left, that there's something below me, that there's something behind me, and there's something to the side. So if I just take out the food from my cheeks and I look that one direction, then I can sit here peacefully and I can eat. So just like you may not want to actually eat that burger until you actually make it home and you can sit, I don't know, with your TV dinner in front of your your television or something, they don't feel comfortable actually stopping to rest and nest and digest. The other one didn't go off. Hold on, one more time. There we go. They won't stop to rest and nest and digest until they're in an area that feels comfortable. And what determines that comfort oftentimes is how enclosed it is. So we've specifically made these holes a size that we have determined they feel comfortable enough to enter in.
Through, yeah.
And to go through. Yeah, and then so as they're inquisitively kind of like sniffing around, boom. So I won't name the institutions, but ever since they outlawed January 2024, Gavin Newsom outlawed difascinone, and there's a new outlawing coming out in January 1st of...
What's difascinone?
It was a very popular rodenticide. Oh. So ever since they outlawed that, the rodent population has been, shall we say, on the rise. And as the rodenticides have been slowly disallowed and our use of that has been going down, the use of all these traps has been going up. And it's kind of fun, I'll be honest, because when you're frustrated at that rat and you finally catch it, you feel vindicated. It's almost like when you got to dump that guy that dissed you for prom publicly on Facebook and you just feel good when the right people like it. It's kind of like that.
Oh, I don't know. I never experienced that. So.
Well, we'll get you a Tinder profile. We'll swipe right on some guys. You know what I'm saying? We'll wait for one of them to mistreat you, and then we're going to come on this radio program and just dunk on them. And then you'll know exactly what it feels like, Barbara. It's going to be so fun. I will walk you through that process. I will respond to those text messages for you.
Oh,
it will be an absolute riot. You would be a savage on the dating apps.
I don't want to be a savage. I'm very comfortable where I am.
Oh, okay, cool. I think you knock it out of the park. That's all I'm saying. I think you knock it out of the park.
Oh, that's too funny. Too funny.
All right, Carden, give us your contact information, please.
Oh, you can always call the office at 661-284-7575. That is 661-BUG-7575.
Bug 7575. Yes, I have it here already. Well, this has been fun. It always is fun because this is fascinating.
Yeah, pretty rad. I'll show you how to set it after
It's-
we go.
Okay, it's a big one. It's a big one.
Yeah?
Now they get the what? The rats, the big rats.
Yeah, the big boys, the alpha males.
Oh, they're called alpha males.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, you
All right,
learn
Carden,
something new every
from
day.
Unipest, thank you so much for joining us. You've been listening to Senior Hour KHTS FM 98.1 AM 1220, hometownstation.com.
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Thomas Pilecki, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. And we're speaking with our next guest, Adam Laraway from Focus Physical Therapy. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, and what's on your agenda today?
I thought maybe we'd talk about neck pain.
Neck
pain.
pain.
With everything that we're doing with, phones and computers and sitting, people's postures not the greatest. So we, tend to have a lot of neck pain. And we actually I was at our national conference back in Washington, D.C. at the beginning of the month, right after I was here last time. And they had a piece of equipment that I'd been kind of looking at for the last, 8 months or so. And they had a booth there, so I tried it out, and I really liked it. It's called Next Level. They did a little pun on the
Next
words there.
level.
Next Level, yeah.
How appropriate.
Yeah, so it's a platform that you can lay down. You can also do it standing if you've got the wall adapter and stuff like that. But it's really been a good way to kind of strengthen. We've been using it for about 3 weeks now, and really good way to kind of strengthen the muscles in the neck, which has always been kind of a hard thing to do because typically you'll use like isometrics where like maybe you just push against resistance. They're not very efficient. They work, but they're not very efficient. And haven't seen the best results with those. Tying a band around somebody's forehead and trying to get them to rotate and side bend and all that type of stuff isn't always the best way. It's not the most comfortable for the patient. So this has been kind of a cool way that they can lay down and actually get some really good resistance with strengthening the neck. So we're seeing some pretty cool success with it. Yeah.
Well, how much, how many of your clients have neck problems?
Well, if I had to guess, I would say we'd probably see 15 to 20% of our patients are neck pain.
Really?
Yeah, probably.
And
yeah.
they've gotten it from looking down like this?
We're seeing a lot of that with
people looking down
everybody
like
looking
this.
at their computers and
And
their
looking at their
phones and their
phones.
iPads and that type of stuff. Yeah, we're seeing a lot more
That makes
postural
sense.
dysfunctions, forward
That
head,
makes a lot of sense.
and that's important because you have a curvature in your spine and your neck that you need to maintain, and we see a lot, and I'm sure Dr. Pilecki would confirm this. We see a lot on X-ray where they'll say that the lordosis of your cervical spine is straightened, and that's not good because that's gravity is pushing down on us all day long, and if your spine is not in a good posture, a good position, it's being loaded by gravity in a bad position, and over time that's going to take its toll.
Interesting.
So posture is really, really important. And if those muscles, they get stretched out and they get weak, there's not a great way to strengthen them. And so, having this piece of equipment that I just bought has been kind of a cool way to get it. And like I said, we're getting some pretty good patient feedback that they can feel it working. They know it's working.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what kind of exercises or adjustments do you do to neck?
How long have you got? I can't cover it in a show. So the key is really making it specific to the individual.
Yeah.
There's no one size fits all.
Okay.
And we do a bespoke evaluation to find out exactly what that person needs. So they're crystal clear on what they need to be doing in order to let's just say, quit their subscription to Neck Pain of the Week and stop chasing drug trials for some more permanent answers. And Adam and I are on the same page on this. There's no pill that is going to improve this situation, period.
Yep.
So just simple movement
Mm-hmm.
will do more for you.
Well, Yeah, that's a kind of an oversimplification, but yeah, motion is the best lotion. It's the best medicine for any musculoskeletal.
Yes.
The key is to get the movement, the proper movement pattern reestablished.
For sure. Yep.
I see.
And getting the spine in the proper alignment so that it, because there's joints in the neck called the facet joints, and they have to articulate with each other. They have to glide next to each other. And when somebody's neck is forward in that position, you're compressing those facet joints, so they're not going to grind. They're not going to glide as well as they normally should. And so if we start working on postural stuff, there's a lot of stuff we do. It's not just the next level, but it was a new piece of equipment that we've been using, that we've been seeing some cool success with. But it's just, it's very patient specific, because some people may have forward head, they may have forward shoulders, just really depending. But as we get older, people start to get that kind of forward head position, and that's really a lot of stress. It can affect a lot of different things. Like you say, like I could go on a whole show about some of this stuff, but
So
it can.
adjustments in the back can affect the neck movement.
Well, it's all connected. The spine is
Yeah.
an organ, so abnormal tension anywhere is going to affect every aspect of it. But in the neck alone, there's there's approximately 40 joints that you're dealing with, and all the connective tissues that can play a role in it. And on top of all of that, you've got a bowling ball. So your head weighs about the same as a bowling ball. So if everything
Really?
is situated properly,
Wow.
it works pretty darn good. And it's designed to last you about 100 years. However, because we are so far removed from anything, and I'm talking in sleep positions and sitting positions and the habits of daily life that we are surrounded in, sitting in front of a computer for most of us 8 hours a day, driving in a car that has been horribly designed for this, so badly so that the manufacturers are now tilting the headrests forward to try to compensate for that. So if you're hit from behind, your head doesn't have as far to travel and really hurt you badly. But that's not the answer. The answer is getting this stuff done properly in the first place. So I'm sorry, I went on a rant. This is your show.
No, we're good. We're good. Well, it's interesting. He mentioned driving. One of the things I always like to talk to patients about, because when we are working with neck pain, one of the things, if somebody's got a long commute or they're in the car a lot, I always like to tell them, okay, I want you to sit up into a good posture, adjust your rear view mirror, and you should be able to see out of that. If you check it in 5 minutes and you have to sit up, that means you're slouching. And so it's a really good check, a good kind of little tip, that you can use to see, like, are you in that bad posture while you're driving? Because if you're driving and then you go to look at your rear view mirror and you can't see out of it, well, you've obviously gone into a slouched position. So you should be able to adjust that. Yeah, so it's just kind of a good tip, especially for somebody who's got maybe a 30-minute to an hour commute, which a lot of people do, or they're going to take a long trip or something like that, for more of the senior population that maybe is going to go, on a trip or something like that and drive for a long period of time. You want to make sure that you're in that good posture, so you're not getting to your location and now all of a sudden your neck's tight and you're sore and not feeling great when you get to your destination. So that's just kind of a cool little trick to get people to make sure they're maintaining that good upright posture.
So is this good to do?
Well, the range of motion for sure. A lot of what we do, at least in physical therapy, is, we're teaching stretches and that type of stuff. And we do some strengthening exercises that I've used for years that work some of the little, called suboccipitals, little tiny muscles kind of underneath the base of your skull. But like I said, there was never really this good way to kind of strengthen the neck, with an exercise, so to speak, unless you're wrapping a band around your head or you're, doing these different things. And so it's been kind of fun to work with this. It's kind of funny. I got to speak with the owner when I was at this conference and kind of asking him questions and, about this piece of equipment and that type of stuff. And it was really cool because I think where I first saw it was like on social media stuff. But then I was watching, there was a Netflix show called Quarterbacks, and Patrick Mahomes was on there using the next level to strengthen his neck. You know, he's getting hit in the helmet all the time and that type of stuff.
Interesting.
And I was talking with the owner, and he said that had been a game changer. You know, he had designed this equipment, and it was doing okay, but not great. But once it got shown on the quarterbacks show, he said it just lit up. And it was funny because he said that he had the trainer. He didn't know that he trained Patrick Mahomes, but the trainer had reached out to him and said, "Hey, I really like your piece of equipment," or whatever. And he was trying to get it up and rolling. So he said, "Well, you want to try one out?" And so he sent him one, not thinking anything of it other than like, "Hey, I want to get this in, you know, people's home or hands so that they can start using it." And then all of a sudden, one of his friends called him up and said, "Did you know your piece of equipment is on quarterbacks?" And he said it just has exploded from there. And so it's been pretty cool. But it's nice because it's got, you know, you can do just motion. So say we want to work on somebody's motion, and maybe when they're in an upright position, working on motion is painful because gravity's loading that. Now all of a sudden we get them on the table, laying on their back, and they can relax those muscles a little bit, but then they can go through the range of motion in a pain-free range. And then once they start to do that, then we can actually add these. There's 6 level bands that we add to the piece of equipment that then gives you resistance. And I've done it myself. I don't have really any neck issues, and it made my muscles a little sore. Like I knew, like I would roll in bed at night, and I was like, oh yeah, I kind of worked some of those muscles I hadn't used in a while. So it definitely works. And there's such small muscles, it doesn't take a lot of resistance. It's not like going to the gym and you're doing a 100-pound squat. You know, I mean, this is a couple pounds of force, but that's all it takes to get those muscles, which tells you, you know, those guys got to be strong because they're what hold you up all day long.
Interesting. So how would I know if I have a neck problem?
Well, generally people have, you know, they come to us when they've got neck pain. You know, they can't turn, they
So
can't,
it's neck
you know,
pain.
can't look up, stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, well,
But, you know, and Dr. Bilecki, I'm sure, would agree with me. We want to be preventative, so we want to try and,
right.
you know, fix those problems. And that's one of the things when we do our evaluation in physical therapy, the first thing we look at is a standing posture. So even though you may come in for a foot problem, I still look at your posture, and I'll mention to you, like, oh, your shoulders are a little forward, your head's a little forward, you should really work on some postural stuff. It's a whole systems approach. Like, we don't want to
standing
just focus
on that piece of wood, that's the worst thing in
That's
the world to me. Trying to stay steady
right?
and not move. That's the hardest thing in the world that I have to do in your
That's
your
right.
office.
Well, we like to give
Oh,
you a good challenge. It can't all be easy, right?
No, that's true. That's true. That's true.
I always
Well-
say sometimes you got to fail to succeed. So it's not necessarily bad if you lose your balance, as long as we don't fall and hurt ourselves. But you know, when you fail with that balance exercise, your brain realizes that, and that's a stressor to your nervous system. Says, "Whoa, I can't do that." And so it's going to figure out how to do it better the next time, and that's how you get the improvement. We
Yeah,
have
well,
to
I
challenge
was
it.
very pleased with myself when I was finally able to just use one finger
Yeah, right. Yep.
on that bed
Yep.
and stay steady.
Yep.
And I thought, oh, I did it.
There you go. Exactly. Exactly. So for sure.
And that affects your entire body.
It does. It does. And it can affect your balance, you know, with our head. If there's one canal in the vestibular system that's at about a 20-degree angle, well, if you're in this forward position and you got to lift your head up, well, if I do that, now I'm essentially looking up in that same posture. And so that can
Sit
mess
up
with your balance
straight.
as well,
Sit
because
up
your
straight.
eyes have to kind of right themselves to get that vestibular canal at the right angle. And so if you're in this forward slouched posture, your head's got to come up. You can't walk this way. You've got to
No,
come back
that's
up.
true.
So it makes a difference for sure.
Interesting.
It's all connected.
Well, Dr. Plucky showed me how to walk with my walking sticks.
Hmm.
You know, instead of like this,
Yep.
do this. Walk like this with them.
Yep.
And it was hard to do to begin with.
Yep.
Because I wasn't used to doing it that way, you know. But now I'm used to using
Right.
them that
Yeah.
way. And it really makes a difference.
For sure. Yeah, the body's really good at
amazing.
setting up these pathways of movement, you know, and sometimes those aren't necessarily the right movement. And so we have to re-educate those movement patterns to make them more efficient or safer or whatever, pieces to that equation to make it work correctly.
Yeah, well, I don't use the sticks around the house because I have too much furniture. If I get caught on one of those, down I go.
Yeah.
So I use the walker.
Yeah,
to scoot around the house.
you've come a long way with working with both Dr. Palucki and myself. I know, because when I first started, met with you, you were using the walker,
I know.
and
I
you're
know.
doing great.
Yeah, like I said, I only use that during walking around the house. Is when I gotta go, I gotta go.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yep.
And I have to go from one side of the house all the way to the other.
Yep.
But no, the walking sticks, I go outside and walk with them. And I've been walking a little bit without anything.
Yeah.
Because I want to get back to normal.
Yep.
You know, the quicker the better for
Good.
me.
You got to keep using it or you lose it, for sure. That's
So-
probably one of the most important things is you got to get up, get moving, and that type of stuff. Because, seniors, we don't want to have you sitting around too long
Oh, and
because
it's
you're
so
going to lose that
easy to
strength.
sit in the chair.
Yep.
Okay,
And
when we
turn
get
the
back from the
television
break, Adam, we're going to find out a few things how we work our magic with patients like Barb. You've been listening to the Senior Hour, KHTS FM 98.1 AM 1220, hometownstation.com.
Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Thomas Palucki, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. And we're speaking with Adam Laraway from Focus Physical Therapy. And shall we continue the
Yeah.
process?
Yeah, for sure.
Of
Let's talk.
talking
we're
about
talking about neck pain.
Neck pain, yes.
So I was really excited about that piece of equipment, but then we really probably the kind of meat and potatoes of how we do our physical therapy is, people come in for evaluation, we kind of figure out what's going on, and then we have a lot of manual therapy that we do. We work on different muscles, working on flexibility, that type of stuff, and then we use our piece of equipment called the newbie.
The newbie,
There's a
yes.
newbie cervical protocol, so to speak, that we use that really, really works well. Putting kind of 4 pads on the neck and then going through those same motions. The nice thing with the newbie is it stimulates that nervous system and gets those protective mechanisms to kind of shut off. So we can have somebody come in, with a stiff neck, and it usually would take you 4, 5, 6 days for it to kind of resolve itself. We can get the newbie on there either with the protocol or we use a glove, which also attaches to the newbie, and we can use our hands then and get in there and work
Yes.
on that. And that really helps to kind of calm that down, get that threat that the brain is sensing, with your motion, and we can restore that motion usually pretty quickly. So that's always kind of fun, when somebody comes in with a stiff neck and we can have them walk out and they're feeling great. So we use that a lot for working with the newbie, and then now with having this new piece of equipment, we're going to add some strengthening as well. We can do strengthening with the newbie as well, which is great. But it's just kind of nice to have a lot of those different tools at our disposal so that we can help as many people as possible with those different pieces of equipment in our hands.
Well, now, when people come in, what other problems do people come in other than a stiff neck?
As far as neck stuff, or just
Yes,
in general?
as far as-
Well, because sometimes people can have, like, as we get older, you can get what's called stenosis, which is where the nerve roots can get compressed because the space where the spinal cord and the nerve roots are, they start to shrink a little bit because of arthritic changes and degenerative changes. So sometimes we'll see that. That can refer pain down your arm and into your hands. But sometimes that's the problem is the neck, and so we work on the neck, and that gets rid of those symptoms down in the arm and the hands. People come in with all kinds of different issues, just depending. A lot of times we get a lot of they'll feel a lot of grinding and catching and sharp pain and stuff like that, and the bone is a really good conductor of sound, and so you can hear it, but not necessarily sitting next to you. I can't hear your neck grinding or popping.
No.
But people
That
do that.
would
They
be
feel
crazy.
that, and so getting those, working through that, loosening things up, some of that grinding and stuff may improve and go away. So that's good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. So, that's crazy. That's crazy. Now, how does the newbie help the neck?
Well, so again, the newbie is pulse direct electric current, and it mimics the nervous system. So when a lot of times when people have pain, it's you maybe slept wrong and you wake up and you've got a stiff neck. Well, what probably happened is you got into a position with your sleeping position that compressed, one of those facet joints, and so the little muscles that go on each side of go into a protective spasm. And so when you try and turn your head, the brain says, oh, this isn't safe because of what happened while you were sleeping, or you lifted and strained something and things locked up on you. And so the way that the newbie works is it taps into that nervous system, and it basically re-educates the brain that, no, this is a safe pattern. We didn't damage anything. We didn't break anything. And so those muscles can then relax, and then things start to loosen up and the motion starts to restore. So that's how we can kind of cheat your nervous system, so to speak.
Okay, so do you have to put your feet in those buckets?
Not for the neck. No, not for the neck.
Okay.
No, the neck we're going usually right after it with either the glove or with the
glove.
electrodes. Yeah.
Well, the glove is very effective.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to me they can just turn that thing and that glove gets on fire.
Yeah, right.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, with the electricity. And it's crazy
Whoa.
because I don't feel a thing in it. I don't feel any of that electricity in my hand.
You don't?
Nope.
With the glove on?
Nope.
That's crazy. Well,
Yeah.
is it an
If I
insulated glove? Is that what it
It's
is?
a wire mesh glove that has some fabric in it. If I should say, if I had my other hand, say on, if we're working on your feet, and I have my other hand on your lower leg, I just created a circuit, and so then I will feel it. I will feel it on both my hand that's touching your leg as well as the glove, because I just became a part of the circuit. But when I just have the glove hand on there, I don't feel a thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, other than the tissue I would be feeling with manual therapy.
Now, with somebody with the glove, does that work?
It can, yeah, for sure.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, we have the newbie definitely gives us a lot of variety of treatment options, which is we use it quite a bit.
Amazing.
All right, Adam, can you give us your contact information, please?
Absolutely. So we're located at 25050 Peachland Avenue, Suite 205 in Newhall. We are, website is www.focusptscv.com, and our phone number is 661-255-4205.
Adam Laraway, Focus Physical Therapy. Thank you for joining us. You've been listening to Senior Hour KHTS FM 98.1 AM 1220, hometownstation.com. We're brought to you by Providence Holy Cross and Comfort Keepers. Now go out and enhance your quality of life.